Welcome to Spork Syndicate. My name is Tom. Spork Syndicate began when my son's passion for collecting die-cast cars reignited my own. While researching how to repair broken die-cast cars on YouTube, I discovered the worldwide community of die-cast customizers. And now, I'm one of them, not just repairing my son's cars, but creating one-of-a-kind models. Like a Batmobile out of a remote-controlled Tesla Roadster. I met Santa Slow Dog online during a monthly live stream. He and I launched our YouTube channels around the same time and consider ourselves part of the same rookie class of customizers in the community. After a few texts, a couple of trades, and a phone call, we soon realized...
Did we just become best friends? Yup!
It was Santa who had a pair of Hot Wheels remote-controlled Tesla Roadsters that suggested we do a buddy build. Hot Wheels RC cars came out in the last few years. They're still 1/64th scale, which means they move very fast. And if you hold the turn lever, they'll do hellacious donuts. Santa loves Batmobiles, and I've never built a Batmobile. I've customized Batmobiles, which is how we connected. A pink Batmobile he spotted in my short history video of my customs soon became his via trade, and that's how we settled on doing a Batmobile buddy build. I like the lines of the Tesla, but I definitely need to add a pair of fins to represent bat wings, a staple on every Batmobile. But since this thing moves very fast, it can't be too delicate. Function is the priority, not form. So whatever I'm going to do will be relatively subtle. At this point, I'm still finding the concept. The first thing I decided to do was to make it 2 jet engines in the back, which is my aesthetic. I can't add axles or change the dimensions of the frame too much out of concern for balance, speed, and the ability to withstand high impacts. But one more jet engine? Oh, heck yeah. No drilling of the posts, just unscrew and find out what's inside. It's 2 main parts, the body and the framework, where the motor and rechargeable batteries are housed. The front axle just rests there and isn't tabbed in, so that's a dimension I have to keep in mind. The front wheels don't steer, that's done by alternating directions of the rear drive wheels. But no matter what I do, all 4 wheels need to be able to roll freely. I make my first cut where I want to install the pair of jet engines. I had envisioned them partially running the length of the trunk area, then jutting out the back. But I ran into a problem, the rear post. Since I'm trying not to make major modifications, I had to be careful not to cut too deep. To fit the modified rear end and fortify the body around the rear post, I had to file some of the plastic housing for the motor. This caused the clasps to fail, so I had to glue it together. Again, trying not to make major changes, but did have to do some scrambling to get where I was going. I added a tail spoiler, but it became redundant when I added the fins later, so I clipped it away. And while I wanted to work with the smooth lines of the Tesla, I did want to match the toughness of the most recent Batmobile with a hint of the indestructibility of the Tumbler from the Dark Knight trilogy. To that end, I fortified the nose to make it look more like the enhanced push-bar bumper of the 2022 muscle car-inspired Batmobile from The Batman. And then I did this. Styrene tubes I dubbed spaghetti. The styrene tubes created an exoskeleton, kind of like the veins in a bat's wings, and perhaps a tamer H.R. Giger-inspired Batmobile. I completed the look with a pair of understated fins in the back. I want to avoid changing the dimensions too much and upsetting the center of gravity or make it get stuck under things. Again, function over form. Kinda looks like a cast member of Pixar's Cars franchise, maybe Jackson Storm. Because this car moves fast and will no doubt bang into things, I didn't think glue was enough to keep the exoskeleton together, so I reinforced the joints and impact points with JB Weld, Now it kind of looks like oil was spilled on it. After the JB weld and some filing and sanding, I added a grill from a Nissan pickup and fabricated a series of pipes and wires for the rockets on the back. I finally got to use my vacuum molding machine, which I bought to replicate or create windshields for castings. I knew I wanted some clear plastic to build out the headlights, so I created a mold of the entire body. I figured this layer would provide more texture and maybe add smoothness to the windshield, which was just painted on the plastic casting. Like a snake shedding its skin, I had to poke out the fins, but the structure is intact. Because of all the oil, Bondo, glue, JB Weld, and other residue inside the mold, the idea of using this as a windshield went out the window. You can achieve a neon or cyberpunk look on a die-cast car much like you do a rust treatment. Paint a reveal color as a base coat, clear coat it, and then add a top coat that you'll distress or remove in parts to reveal the color underneath. Instead of rust, I went with a pale green I mixed using sky blue, white, metallic teal, and a little chrome. It is advisable that you keep track of the paints and the mixture you use in case you need more. I was lucky that I made enough for the coats I needed. I let things set for a day, then applied clear coat, and then waited another day. Once the top coat dried, I wet sanded with 3000 and 7000 grit sandpaper to reveal the edges. Didn't quite get the neon finish I was looking for. It's more of an illustration. The divot in the center of the roof was still showing despite 2 rounds of Bondo and JB Weld before that. I'm guessing the plastic body is the reason and I wasn't using the right material. The hood was also showing edges and scratches. For both, I custom cut some homemade carbon fiber decals. In my last video, I had an epic failure putting my decals on my Formula 1 hover car.
Don't! 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 Don't!
Since I use an inkjet printer to make my decals, the microset and microsol chemicals I was using to adhere and shape my decals dissolved the ink from my printer and dissolved the decals. So I did it the old-fashioned way, with just water, tweezers, and gentle nudges. Had one goof, but then I was able to get things done after that. And just back away. I painted one of the molds I made of the car purple and cut a pair of headlights to run along the top of the front fenders. From Santa Slow Dog's workshop in Washington State to Spork Syndicate's headquarters in Virginia, a pair of new Batmobiles were born, different as a masked superhero and a toy made from plastic cutlery. And she's most definitely a roller. Thanks to Santa Slow Dog for suggesting this. For Spork Syndicate, this is Tom, and beware the night. We'll see you again real soon.